Hello, hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to another episode of Women Who Rock the World. And as I'd like to say, we like to change the world today, one woman at a time. Today, with me, I have a very special guest with a lot of interesting stories. Her name is Pamdiana Jones. Welcome.
Thank you. Glad to be here. Hello, everyone.
Very, very happy to have you. Pamdiana, she's a writer and a speaker and a traveler, and she's gonna tell us more, about it, about her adventures. Let me just tell you this, guys. She went on a solo backpacking journey for 3 months in Africa, correct?
Correct. Yes.
And ended up staying away for years. And so, like, my first question is what happened from 3 months, which is kind of like a long time,
That's a
especially
good
traveling
size trip.
solo.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a good size trip, but to years. I mean, what happened there?
Yeah. Let me back up just a little bit and say I've got a little travel blood in my family. My grandparents were British, but they lived in Egypt and South Africa in the 1930s. And then my mother went to Kenya and Tanzania in the 1970s. So I was 24 years old and had never really been anywhere, just around, Hawaii, Mexico, the things that Southern California is where I'm from is about. But I was starting to get a little restless, and my moving truck was stolen full of everything I owned. And that kind of shoved me out of the rat race and into who do I really want to be? What do I really want to do? And while I was figuring that out, I moved to a little ski town called Park City, Utah. And I was just working the snow season, and I met a guy, but we weren't dating. His name was JJ. And I said, "What are you doing when the snow melts?" This was just a few days before the season was over. I go, "What are you doing when the snow melts?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm going surfing in South Africa." And my jaw just dropped. "Oh, that sounds amazing." And he goes, "You want to go?" I went, "Yeah." He goes, "Ticket is $1,175. And I had $1,200 to my name. So I go, "Yes." And I emptied my bank account, gave him every penny I had except for the $25. And he was shocked. He just goes, "Everybody has excuses why they can't go." He goes, "Are you sure?" I go, "Yes." So we were leaving in 1 month, and that gave me time to sell my car for $3,300. So I did that, and I thought we were just going to South Africa for 3 months, and he was going to stop in Indonesia to continue surfing on the way home. But my heart was Africa. So about 6 weeks into the trip, he decides to run home. His sister's getting married. He doesn't want to miss out. And I'm having such a good time. And he's taught me to travel so dirt cheap that I'm saving so much money. We had bought a car there and drove the whole entire coast of South Africa. And he taught me buy a $2 bag of white rice and that will last you for a week if you eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So that's not normally. I'm a foodie and a wino, and I need my cheese. And it was very difficult to do, but he was right. After 3 months of doing that, I only spent $900. So I still had 2,400. So I just felt like I'm not ready to go home. And I'm on the flight home, and I'm like, I'm just still not ready. And I'm sitting next to another gentleman who's just beginning a big journey. And I'm so jealous. And to me, jealousy is a tool I can use to learn what's missing in my life. What do I really want in my life? If I'm jealous of somebody, I want something that they've gotten. Why don't I work towards that? So I still have the money burning a hole in my pocket. I'm jealous of him. I notice that jealousy, and I go to this, it's the 1990s was my travel. So pardon me if I use words like stewardess, because that's in my book. We just say flight attendant now, but there's a lot of lingo and things that I thought, let me be authentic to that time in my book. But I asked the stewardess, "Can I get off the flight?" I show her my ticket, and she's all, "Oh dear, yes, you can go for a year. Your ticket's good for a year." So I went, "Oh, right." I just didn't know what Jay had bought. So I get off in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and I end up in Thailand, Malaysia, Singapore. And since Jay had been going to Indonesia after his trip, we'd been practicing lingo and the language the whole drive. So I go, "Indonesia's right there. I'll just start in Sumatra and Java and Bali and Lombok." And then in another 4.5 months of Asia, I'd only spent another $1,000. So I've got about $1,500 left. And obviously that's maybe $4,000 or $5,000 in today's cash, but Australia's right there and New Zealand's right there. So I began working along the way and picking up odd jobs. So in In Darwin, I washed airplanes for a little while. I didn't know they get dirty, but I guess they need washing. Then I taught snorkeling in the Great Barrier Reef on a yacht, which still to this day was my dream job. But a lot of waitressing and bartending, and that's what got me through New Zealand as well. But then my mom was getting married, and I didn't want to miss out. So by the time I got home, it was just a couple months before 3 years. So I've got so many hilarious, awkward things that go on in this trip because I have this weird optimism that everything's going to work out. So, page 1, there's a stabbing on the night train in Africa. That's all my fault. I get chased by a herd of wild elephants. I get into a confrontation outside of the car with a wild rhino. At some point, me and my friends, pardon me if this is hopefully it's an adult show, but I get a little high with some friends in a treehouse inside an animal park, and we decide to go for a walk in the middle of the night, and we forget we're inside the place. So we hear a stick break, and I've got this little pen flashlight, and I look, and there's thousands of eyes just staring at us, and they're all different sizes, different heights, and we go, oh yeah, we're in the middle of a lion animal park. We need to get out of here. So I climbed a live volcano and slept on the top of it in Indonesia. I'm shoved from the bungee platform after I tell my friend I don't want to go, this isn't for me. And I have to show you my book here. This is the cover of my book. Pamdiana Jones, I call my book When in Rome, like you're roaming around though, ROAM. And I just told my friend no thanks, and he shoves me. So that's my face is just pure fear because I think, am I even clipped in right? Because you just agreed that I wasn't going. So I made that the cover because of all the awkward, cringeworthy, outrageous, I shouldn't be alive adventures that fill the book.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, so 3 years basically,
Yeah.
from 3 months to 3 years. How many
Yeah.
countries did you visit?
Just 6 in this book, but I've been all over the world since then as well. So I'm nearly done with the second book to follow up on this one. I don't want to spoil any endings, but so plug your ears if this is too much for you. But a lot of friends that I meet in this book now invite me to their home countries, and I take them up on it. And one girl asks me as well, would I like to go through the South Pacific? So I come and meet friends in England and France and Canary Islands, and then I go through Easter Island, Tahiti, Moorea, Fiji, Western Samoa, and then back to New Zealand and Australia. And there's still just crazy, weird things that happen to me along the way. But that book is nearly complete and should be out by summer, and that's going to be called Roaming Oceania.
Ooh,
So more adventures.
more adventures. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's awesome. I mean, so you seriously like decided basically like that, and that was life changing. And I don't think you'll ever be able to go back, and there's like not going back to like a travel life full of travels, like before we connected here, we were talking about the beauty and how educational traveling is, and how much you get to experience cultures and live and breathe things that otherwise you cannot experience, and it's like another college education right there.
You can read about it in a book, but to stand on the rock where Shaka Zulu pushed his people over the cliff, I'll remember that lesson instead of a history book where I just was struggling to pass a test, and that lesson's long gone out of my brain. So maybe I'm a different type of learner, but I feel like I remember everything clearly. When I started writing this book, for 20 years, 25 years, I'd been told to write this book. And when my twins, I have 14-year-old twins now, but when my twins were 5, I thought, let me get started now and just see what happens. There was a very famous book and movie called Eat, Pray, Love. And when I picked it up, I wanted to read a serious adventure Indiana Jones type book, and hers was wonderful, nice little travels, but a lot of her book was about the divorce, and a lot of her book was just she's much gentler, goody traveler than me. About she ate some pasta in Italy, she went to ride a bike in Bali, but I'm scuba diving with a shark while my hand is gushing blood, and I'm not very bright, so I don't know I should get out of the water, and it's hunting me. It's starting to circle a little bit, and I'm just like, la la la, well, I paid my $300, so I'm not getting out. So I shouldn't really be here telling you these stories. But I think my guardian angel is just exhausted, just going, Pam, no, don't do this. Don't get in the car with that hitchhiker.
Another travel.
But the beauty of the world calls to you, like you said, just the the people in certain places I never even thought I would be interested in traveling. Like I said, my heart belonged to Africa, and I just have fallen in love with Indonesia, and I've been back 4 times now. I can speak some of the language. The people there are just so kind that I find that's my vibe.
Yeah, and I mean, I heard like a lot of people talking about Africa
Yeah.
and how their heart stays there. And it's funny that you mentioned South Africa because I've never been. My partner has been 2, 3 times, and he's like, it's one of the next places that I gotta take you because it's something that you gotta see, you know. So it's and a lot of people fall in love with South Africa. A lot of people that go there.
I
So I'm actually
wish
more and more
Pardon me.
curious.
Sorry. Yeah.
That's okay.
I wish I had, if I knew I was going to continue going, I wish I didn't get on the flight and continue north. I would have loved to see more of Africa. And my daughter has an Egyptian middle name. So I know I'm going to have to get there one day. But at the time, I asked my mom, do you think it's silly that I don't see Egypt if I'm in South Africa? And she said, that's like flying to California and saying, oh, you missed the Statue of Liberty in New York. She goes, you just can't see everything in the world. You have to pick your places. So I thought someday I'll go back too. But life takes you in different ways where certain trips fall into your lap easier than another. The flight is right. Someone will watch your dog those dates. Your kid's school suddenly has a weird holiday or whatever, where that's the trip I'm going to take because the doors are flying open. Other times it's like, oh, I just missed that flight at that cheap price. Now it went up by $800. Okay, that's telling me no, not this time. So I just kind of respect that and try to go
Yeah.
with that guidance.
Yeah. And what's one country that you haven't visited that you would really like to visit?
Oh, that's the question of the year, isn't it? I've been all over South America, but not Brazil. I would love to head there and get back into the Amazon. I've been to Venezuela and the Amazon, but I'd love to show the kids that too. But I'd love to go back to Africa. Just the history of the pyramids is calling my name next. And I haven't done the Middle East at all, so I would love to see some of that architecture and certain countries I've been to. I heard the call to prayer, and it just seems very exotic to a Southern California girl like me. So to show the kids that would be interesting as well. My kids had a goal to get to see as many continents as they could. So now they've been to Australia, they've been to Bali and Hong Kong and in Indonesia, sorry. And now we went to Italy and France over this last summer. And tickets are much more expensive for 4 people. So my husband and I thought we could travel once a year, which we did do. But when the kids arrived, now we can travel every 3 years for those, just to save up enough to go with the family now.
Yeah, of course, of course. And talking, I mean, when someone travels, you know, as much as you do, um, what's the thing that you believe, you know, changed you or changes you the most, like when you travel as a person?
Good question. While I was devastated when my moving truck was stolen, it was cheap, crappy, early 20s furniture that I could afford. So it wasn't that. It was that I didn't trust my own instinct. I parked my moving truck in a fancy area of San Diego called La Jolla. And I ran into work and said, I'm going to be late. And they said, we don't need you. Have a glass of wine. And I came out and it was stolen. So my instinct had said, do not park everything you own in the middle of the street. Don't do it. And I argued with that. No, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So to have to trust my gut instinct, when Jay and I were first traveling, we would talk to each other. Should we get on that train? Should we do this? Well, when he's gone, now I have to go, I hope that's the right choice. Do I hitchhike with that person? Which I would never hitchhike anymore. But at that time, I felt like I'll go with my gut instinct, do I eat this food? Do I stay in this town? Or am I leaving too early? Did I miss something cool? Am I staying should I stay here and get a job? So learning to trust my gut instinct and learning to work at that. Sometimes you just say, what sandwich should I eat? Oh, a turkey sandwich or a chicken sandwich? And you're turkey sandwich. Well, instead of arguing with it like I did with my moving truck, just go eat that. It doesn't matter which sandwich you have. And the more you practice it, the more it comes to you. So now I've learned, okay, if I'm trying to call somebody and the phone's not working for 3 times, I'm just going to go, all right, today's not the day to make that call. So learning to trust that now has built me the life that I just love. We were talking before this, how to get pieces of a stable family life and a travel family life. So I think we're trying to build that as we can as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, to me, it's, it's what you said, and also the fact that compared to who I was like 20 years ago, when I started like little travels here and there,
Yeah.
more than 20 years ago actually, but most
I
of
can
my
relate.
most of my travel most of my traveling I did, let's say, in the last 20 years, is being more open to people and
Mhm.
talking to people more and wanting to connect on a deeper level,
Absolutely.
besides culture and language, and language. I mean, English does help a lot. I'm Italian, and even though I was raised bilingual, like English and Italian, still like Italian. When I get really, really upset, I get upset in Italian.
Yeah.
Mildly upset if the context requires. I do get upset in English, and I dream in English and Italian. Um, but so um, traveling, just opened me up to people, and being
Yes.
totally non-judgmental of different lifestyles, different choices, different habits, and it's like, you know what, as long as it doesn't damage other people, it's fine. If you like it, maybe I don't like it, it's not for me, but it's okay. And I remember I was not like that, because
I
of
feel the
course
same way.
we're taught that this is right, this is wrong, we should do this, we should do that, and like go to school, graduate, get married, and the whole
Yeah.
stuff, which if that works for people, it's fine, there's nothing wrong in that. But there's like alternatives, to
There's other worlds than
everything.
these. Yes, I
Yeah,
fully
everything
agree.
that we've been
I
taught.
found on my travels, I just found while everybody has different cultures and different music and different food, we're all the same. I would be at a barbecue in Africa or Indonesia or Malaysia or something, and people whip out their guitar and have a little song, and they're feeding everybody, having a laugh, and making, community, building community, sharing stories to each other, just like we do at home. And that just showed me the world is a much smaller place than
Yeah,
it really binds us all together as humans.
yeah.
And
And
they're
what
as
you
interested in me in my hometown as I was in them.
Yeah, and something interesting that I would like to tell people listening is that we think about, I don't do that anymore, but I used to do it. Okay, I gotta travel. Let me pack like 2,000 things,
Yeah.
and let me be scared because this might happen. Let me be scared of that. And as much as like being careful is one thing, but thinking that no one is going to help us in a foreign country. I don't know why
Yeah,
we're taught, that that's the way it goes. I actually found more people willing to help,
me too.
even by people from the same country, like the Italians help Italians more because you're in a foreign country and you kind of, but even like Italians, Americans are like, oh yeah, it's like a community, because it's like we know what it takes to travel and what can happen during a travel. So it's much people are much more willing to help one another,
I
right?
found that too. Just how maybe because I was solo, people don't really open their homes to four people now, but I was sleeping on people's couches and staying with their grandma and having a barbecue over here and go to that wedding. I was invited to weddings and things. So it's I was so honored to be included in their special family moments and family times. And I have friendships of 25 years from all over the world. So when I first published my book, it went international immediately because everybody that was in it wanted to buy a copy too. So it went all over the world right away. So that felt, I, I always wondered, did they forget about me? I just breezed through town, and they didn't. They love our friendship, and that they feel memorialized to be in my book now too. But you just brought up a point that I met some girls, and they had been traveling through, I want to say Pakistan or maybe Afghanistan before any big troubles, and they got really sick. And they were on this bus and they couldn't breathe, they couldn't walk, they couldn't do anything. And these women just carried them to their village, and the whole village would just look after them for a couple of days, maybe 3, 4, 5 days, until they started feeling better. And they didn't speak a language, and they didn't share anything more than just woman to woman, human to human. And like you said, there doesn't have to be fear. So I like that.
Yeah, that's amazing. And what do you think? I mean, do you think they should have some type of program in schools, that kind of in some way, of course, it has to be according to everyone's finances. Traveling
Yeah.
can be expensive. I mean, it depends because as you mentioned, you managed to travel, just of course you can save
Very
up.
cheap.
Yeah, especially in certain countries, you can save up. But let's say traditionally
Yeah.
traveling, it can be expensive, especially if there's like more than one or two people. But what is it that could be done, to teach young people out there that it's important to travel and that they gotta do it. I don't like to push people to do something they don't want to do, but on traveling, I'm a huge advocate.
Me too. Years and years ago, I was talking with a 96-year-old man, and I brought up Hawaii, and he said, "Ooh, that's my dream trip. Someday I'm going to go." Someday? Like, you better buy the ticket yesterday and go right immediately now. So it's some people are dreamers and some people are doers. So, and some people don't care about traveling at all. They love their white picket fence and their little home, and they love knowing their uncle works at the supermarket and their cousins work over here. So it's not for everybody, but I've never once heard a person go, "Oh, what a terrible, epic, gorgeous trip that was." It's always, "Wow, what a life-changing, I need more." And I think if I was maybe a teacher, that would be the lessons I would choose, is let everybody pick a different country and let's do a full day of it. We'll decorate the room like it. We'll eat the food from it. We'll wear the native garbs from the country, and pick a country that you love, or pick your top three, and who's ever switching it around. But maybe get some pen pals too, some children to write to each other and say, "I like this cartoon." "No, I like this cartoon too." Or, "What's your favorite? What do you get for your birthday for your meal?" And, "Oh, my mom gave me the biggest rice and veggie dish." And then over here you get a birthday cake, and over there you get some sushi or whatever. So what's
Yeah.
their, learn a bit more cultures like that. And that would make I find just having children, if they help you cook the meal, they don't complain about the meal. They want to eat it because they're excited about it. So I feel like if they helped you learn about a country, then they want to travel to that country too. They'll be more excited because they have that knowledge.
Yeah, it's very interesting that you mentioned the food, just bringing some food in the classroom from that country, because I'm a big foodie myself.
Yeah.
But also, I do believe that food tells a lot about a country. And you
Mhm.
experience a country fully if you haven't tasted their food, and because sometimes
Right.
there's a whole historic meaning behind it, cultural. There's so much, and so that's a very simple, in a way, a simple way to start experiencing a country without traveling,
Yes.
and saying like, okay, why do they eat this, and sometimes maybe I like it, maybe I don't,
Yeah.
but that's an experience in itself, and it broadens your horizons to
Well, like you said, the sharing of ideas and being open-minded. At one point, I'm in Indonesia, and I'm traveling with a Moroccan man, and we're learning about each other. And he says, he's telling me about Ramadan and how at the end of Ramadan, you kill a goat and you have a big celebration. And I go, "Ew, you kill a goat?" And he's confused. He goes, "Well, I don't understand. Don't you kill a turkey for your Thanksgiving?" And I go, yes, yes, we do. You're correct. So sorry for my judgment there. I was misunderstanding because it wasn't the same animal. Who cares, So he told me more about the funny side of Ramadan, that he goes, the first few days, everyone is super respectful. And then all of a sudden there's fistfights and car accidents. He was from Casablanca, and he just said, everyone's starving. So I never would have thought of that. So I was lucky to hear an insider's take of how things really go in all the cultures.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, what's next for you? So, you mentioned second book, uh,
Yes.
and which we're not going to spoil. Uh, and you said it's going to be out more or
I'd
less.
like to publish it this summer, so that look for that. I'm nearly done writing it. It's going through editing, and I've got the cover made, so that's usually the catalyst to say it's nearly done. I do have a second book that is for young teens, tweens, and like maybe 9, 10, 11 year olds. It's called The Secret of Oak Island, and my grandfather, Bertram Smith, wrote it. It's starring my triplet mother at 13 running around looking for a treasure on Oak Island. And he had joined the British Navy. He was British. So he had joined the British Navy when he was just 14 in the 1930s. And he had began aviation around the Middle East. He was landing airplanes and mapping out where airports should be. And he's got some hilarious stories about sometimes a tribe would shoot bows and arrows at them, and sometimes another tribe would go, "Oh, thank you for this lovely airplane. Here's a camel to say thanks." And he's like, "No, no, no, not quite that." But he's tied those types of his sailing adventures and his Middle East adventures into this book. But it's more like The Goonies, if you remember those movies, or National Treasure, just a down home, wholesome family fun adventure. So if you have any teens out there, maybe 9, 10, 11, 12, and then I've just written 3 children's books. I wrote them during the lockdown. My children are named Hunter and Bryce. Hunter is a little girl and Bryce is a boy. They're 14-year-old twins. And I just sort of made them find a portal and go meet Santa. And the second one, they dissolve down into their own shadows and have to fly on an eagle to go have their adventure. And the third one, they meet the tooth fairy and go inside the neighbor's bloodstream and things. So it's those are being illustrated right now. So I have 2 books published right now, The When in Rome and The Secret of Oak Island, but hopefully by the end of summer I have 6 books published. So that will
Oh,
be fun.
wow.
Yeah,
So,
so the
just
next
another one
comedy
about three
travel
more.
memoir and the 3 children's books. So I think I found a new career for myself at 50
Yeah,
years
keeping
old.
yourself
So
busy.
yeah, well, it took me a little while to get into it because I'm like, let me do the laundry and do the dishes, and then all right. And then you just never have time for that. So, all right, if I was at work as an author in an office somewhere, I would have to wait on the laundry and dishes. So now I do that. While my kids are at school, I'm writing all day, and then we do the chores together now that they're older.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, it's never too late to start. It's something that
It
we said
isn't.
offline,
Yeah,
before. And that's a beautiful message. It's what Women Who Rock the World stands for, and just finding your path and finding your career. It doesn't matter the age, it's
right.
it's there's nothing written on a piece of stone that says you got to do this by the time you're 20, you got to do this by the time you're 12, you got to do this. There's some guidelines, and if we want to follow them, great. But if we
I
don't,
find I find I just didn't follow those guidelines at all. A lot of my friends got married right out of high school, and guess who all 100% got divorced? I missed that first marriage because I was traveling, but I re-met my husband. We dated, we went on 2, 3 dates in high school, and then he joined the army and he left. And then I went traveling and he married someone else. And finally, when I was 32, my sister called me, guess who's single? And I went, no way. And we'd run into each other over the years, but we were always taken or with someone, or, it just didn't fit. And he called me up and he goes, what are you doing this weekend? And I said, actually, I just bought a condo and I'm moving in on the weekend. He goes, I'll come down and help you move. And he never left. That was 22 years ago. So we tell our kids, that's what not to do. Don't just move in with somebody on the first date. But because we had known each other, it really fit. It was
yeah,
finally our time to be together. But I got married at 38 and twins at 40. So you never know what life holds. And
yeah,
work
and that's the
towards
beauty of
something
it.
you want. Yeah, it doesn't have to be what someone else wants. And like you said about age-wise, here in America, it's very much finally starting to shift from the go to college and get a 40-year career and you retire with a gold watch. Well, nobody's getting the gold watch anymore. They just kind of get kicked out of the company and replaced. So I think a lot of people are like, I don't have to do that. There's so many other ways to do it, and do it for a while and then shift. I've been in real estate and I've been in importing and exporting, and both of those were a decades long career as well. And I thought, let me add being an author, but right now I can focus on the writing. So I appreciate my husband's got a really nice job. So that helps, I must say. But when I was working in the corporate world, you don't owe them 50 years of your life. You can use them as they're using you and work together until you get what you need too, and then move on. So, and follow those passions in a never let it go. Sometimes people give up a hobby they used to have when they were a child, and they're like, "Oh, there's no time for that." Make some time. You loved it.
Yeah,
Pick up that
that's a
paintbrush.
beautiful.
Go gardening. Yeah, something that
Yeah,
is it really calls you.
yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I would, yeah, and our conversation like here because it's a very beautiful message, and I want to leave the audience with this and let that sink in. So thank you
Wonderful.
so much. Thanks for
Thank you.
joining me, joining us, and
Thank you for
talking.
having me on. And I
Yeah,
just wanted to say my books are available on Amazon. So look for Pamdiana Jones. When in Rome is the adventure. It's rated R. Heads up. Don't give that one to children. But the other one is The Secret of Oak Island. And my name is connected to that through my
yeah, and I'm gonna
grandfather.
put you on put your links, your social media, and your book
Oh,
link
wonderful.
below, and so people can either search you online or just scroll down, and it's underneath. It's gonna be underneath the video.
Thank you so much. This was
All
so
right.
much fun to get to know you. And I hope your listeners connected with me and my story.
Definitely, they definitely are. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye bye.